Remember, Labour said energy bills would come down. This was a blatant lie. Now ask yourself why the UK pays more for electricity than anywhere else. It's not because of dictators or volatile markets, because if it was, all countries would be in the same position. Today, Ofgem has announced a new energy price cap set to take effect from April, rising by 6.4%, the third consecutive increase. While this means higher energy bills for households across the UK, the rise is slightly lower than some initial forecasts, which had predicted up to a 7% hike. The new cap will be set at £1,849, equating to an increase of £9.25 per month from the current rate. As the regulator responsible for setting the maximum price households can be charged for energy, Ofgem uses the price cap to prevent excessive costs for gas and electricity. Meanwhile, Ed Miliband has blamed surging gas prices for Britain's rising energy bills, urging households and businesses to back net zero as a way to reduce costs. But in today's video, we'll watch a squirming Ed Miliband struggle to defend his position, while also getting grilled over his energy lies. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Just a quick one to say we have new Labour t-shirts available on our website. You can check the link in the description or go to britishstand.com. This first clip is Ed Miliband getting torched for his energy lies.
Said that energy and water bills would push up inflation quite sharply later this year. So for all you say about the future, and you're talking about 2030, what people will hear and what they will know, according to the Bank of England, is that their energy and water bills will be going up. You made a promise coming into government that the bills would come down, and I think the figure you used was £300.
Yeah, up to £300.
That is not happening, is it?
Yeah,
it's just not happening.
No, and let me tell you why, Charlie, and this goes to our mission. What we are seeing in the global fossil fuel markets is prices up 60% compared to a year ago. That's because of geopolitical events in part. And this is our whole point. I fear that bills will keep rising. And this is our whole point, which is the only way to bring bills down, the only way to get control back is to have clean homegrown power that we control. Because at the moment, we're in the grip of markets that we don't control, run by petrostates and dictators. And that is what is happening. So global markets are seeing fossil fuel prices rise, and that is having an impact on British consumers. So this is why our mission is so important. This is why what we said at the election is so important, because the only way we reassert that control is by having this clean.
This next clip of him this morning reacting to this price increase.
All of these pressures that are caused by energy prices make life harder. And this shows the dangers of our reliance on these fossil fuel markets, which are not in our control, but in the control of petrostates and dictators around the world. And it underlines the importance of our mission for clean homegrown power. So if you can have renewables and nuclear as the backbone of your electricity system, that means that we control what's happening to the prices, not the gyrations and the roller coaster of the global market. This will be very worrying news for many families, and it's driven by the rise in global gas prices. But this government is determined to act. And we're going to take action by putting forward proposals for an extra 2.7 million families to get £150 off bills next winter as part of the Warm Homes discount. And we're acting to bring down bills for everyone with our mission for clean, homegrown power that we control. Because the only way we can have the energy security the British people deserve is by getting off fossil fuels that are controlled by petrostates and dictators.
Another Labour lie. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comments. In some other news, former Conservative Party chairman Sir Jake Berry has predicted that Reform UK could win the upcoming Runcorn by-election following MP Mike Amesbury's imprisonment. Berry criticised the Labour MP, arguing that if he had a spine, he would resign immediately. He stated, "It's right that he's been sent to prison because members of Parliament, like police officers, should be held to a higher standard in public life. If this man had any spine or believed in the people of Runcorn and Helsby, he would resign tonight." Amesbury was sentenced to 10 weeks in prison at Chester Magistrates Court on Monday for assaulting a man in Frodsham in late 2024. While Berry acknowledged that the Conservatives would contest the seat, he suggested that Reform UK had the best chance of winning. The Conservative Party won't stand aside in a major by-election, nor should it be expected to, but I think this is probably Reform's to win. In the last Parliament, we saw major upsets. Nadine Dorries' former seat fell to Labour despite a huge Conservative majority, as did Selby and Arnstey in Yorkshire. The Conservatives don't need to step aside for Reform to win this. Reform could become the Lib Dem-style by-election comeback kids of this Parliament. Berry also raised concerns about taxpayer money continuing to fund Amesbury's salary while he remains in prison. If he serves the full 10 weeks, which he might, or even longer if he misbehaves, he will receive £11,000 to £12,000 in taxpayers' money while in jail, Berry said. How can he serve his constituents from prison? He's not even allowed a mobile phone. They can't contact him. He called on the Labour Party to push for Amesbury's resignation, stating, "It's up to his former party to do the right thing and demand he step down." Berry also warned that the recall petition process could face delays due to potential appeals. A recall petition only happens 6 weeks after all appeals are exhausted. Amesbury could drag this out for 6 months, maybe even a year, all while getting paid, having his London flat covered, and his transport funded. He concluded with a stark warning for Labour leader Keir Starmer. If one of the top 20 safest Labour seats in the country goes to Reform, Starmer will have a lot to answer for. And lastly, a veteran London primary school teacher has lost her unfair dismissal case after being sacked for joking about whacking pupils. Baiklauchme Subrian, who had over 35 years of experience, was dismissed from Gilbert Colvin Primary School in Ilford, East London, in 2023 after a student who spoke English as a second language felt threatened by her remark. Subrian had worked at the school for 4 years before the incident that led to her termination. During a Year 6 Maths SAT preparation class, Subrian responded to a question about holding test papers correctly by joking that she would whack the pupils if they didn't comply, using a hand gesture to illustrate her point. While most students understood it as a joke, one child felt distressed and reported the comment to another teacher. The following day, Subrian was summoned by the head teacher and informed that an investigation would take place. At a disciplinary hearing in July 2023, she argued that the student could not have been genuinely upset, as they continued attending her after-school club. However, the school ruled that her comment constituted gross misconduct, stating in its dismissal letter that the student, as a non-native English speaker, could not be expected to understand that it was a joke. Subrian called the punishment excessive and criticised the school's investigation for lacking integrity. At an employment tribunal in East London, Judge Jack Feeney rejected her unfair dismissal claim, ruling that intent was irrelevant. "I do not consider whether or not the comment was intended as a joke to be particularly important. It was plainly an inappropriate thing to say," the judge stated. He added that the accompanying hand gesture worsened the situation, particularly given the language barrier for some students. "A teacher may get away with such a comment if all children receive it as light-hearted and laugh along," Judge Feeney said. "But if even one child becomes upset, it must amount to a significant safeguarding issue." The case underscores the importance of cultural sensitivity and language awareness in London's diverse classrooms. So, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments. That brings us to the end of today's video. Hit the like and subscribe button for more British content. Oh, and don't forget to get your t-shirts at britishstand.com. Link is in the description.